Most people think Formula One drivers just have insane reflexes. Fast hands, fast eyes. Genetic reaction speed. Wrong. Raw reflex is not what separates them. At 200 miles per hour, reflex is too slow. They don't react. They predict. And they're trained in a cognitive system that makes your decision-making look prehistoric. You wait for things to happen. They anticipate 3 moves ahead. By the end of this video, you'll understand how F1 drivers process chaos at extreme speed and how to steal that system for exams. Business coding anything. Chapter 1. Prediction beats reaction. Average person operates reactively. Problem appears, you respond. Email arrives, you answer. Mistake happens, you fix. F1 drivers cannot afford that. At 200 miles per hour, waiting to react means you're already late. Neuroscience's clear reaction time has biological limits. Roughly 200 to 250 milliseconds for simple visual stimuli. That's eternity on a racetrack. So drivers build predictive models. They memorize track layouts, corner sequences, braking points. They know what's coming before they see it. Cognitive scientists call this anticipatory processing. The brain generates predictions based on pattern recognition. Chess grandmasters do the same. You see pieces, they see future positions. If you want to think faster, build prediction libraries. Before solving math problems, study common patterns. Before coding interviews, master recurring algorithm types. Before meetings, anticipate objections. Prediction shrinks reaction time. But here's the problem though. Prediction requires massive pattern exposure. Chapter 2. High-volume pattern reps. F1 drivers don't just race. They run simulators for hours. Lap after lap, same corner, same braking zone, until patterns burn into neural circuits. Psychologist Anders Ericsson called this deliberate practice. Not random repetition, targeted refinement of weak microskills. Drivers isolate braking consistency. Corner entry angle, throttle modulation. They don't just drive more. They dissect micro-components. Most of you practice whole performances. Play the whole song. Build the whole project. Study the whole chapter. Wrong. Break it down. Isolate the weak corner. Drill it. Immediate feedback. F1 teams analyze telemetry data in milliseconds. Steering angle, brake pressure, tire temperature. You improve what you measure. You stagnate what you ignore. But here's the deeper layer. Even perfect practice collapses under stress. Chapter 3. Cognitive load management. During a race driver's process, track conditions, competitor positions, fuel levels, tire degradation, team radio. Yet they don't look overwhelmed. Why? Because they chunk information. Working memory is limited. George Miller's magical number 7 proves that. Drivers don't track 20 variables separately. They compress them. Tires fading. Fuel safe. Overtake window. Zip files. Compression reduces load. In your life, you try to remember every detail. Instead of grouping, studying biology, group pathways, learning business, group metrics into categories, growth, cost, retention. Chunking increases speed. But here's the thing though, even chunking fails if emotion hijacks cognition. Chapter 4. Emotional regulation under pressure. At 200 miles per hour, panic equals crash. F1 drivers train breathing control, heart rate regulation, mental rehearsal. Sports psychologists teach visualization, mentally rehearsing laps before driving them. Research shows mental practice activates similar neural pathways as physical execution. They fail in their heads so they don't fail on track. Most of you never rehearse mentally. You wait for the exam to feel pressure. You wait for the presentation to feel anxiety. Wrong. Rehearse the state. Visualize worst-case scenarios. Practice under mild stress. State-dependent learning shows recall improves when training conditions match performance conditions. Comfort-only practice creates fragile performance. Hit subscribe before you forget this. We build cognitive speed here. Now let's expose the final advantage. Chapter 5. Marginal gains obsession. In Formula 1, a 0.1 second improvement is massive. Teams obsess over micro-optimizations. Aerodynamics tweak, weight reduction, pit stop speed. They don't chase dramatic transformation. They stack tiny improvements. Psychologist James Clear popularized this idea of marginal gains, but elite sports applied it long before. Small, consistent upgrades compound. Most people seek breakthrough moments. Big productivity hacks, overnight transformation. Idiots, improvement is incremental. Sharpen one weak concept daily. Refine one speaking habit weekly. Automate one workflow monthly. Stack gains, now zoom out. Why do F1 drivers think at 200 miles per hour? Because they predict instead of react. Drill microcomponents, compress cognitive load, regulate emotion, stack marginal gains, system over speed. You don't need faster neurons. You need better models. But here's the problem though. Even the best cognitive model fails if you're exhausted. Sleep deprivation slows reaction time dramatically and impairs decision-making. Studies show fatigue can reduce cognitive performance similar to alcohol impairment. F1 drivers protect sleep before race day. Because clarity beats grind, you sacrifice sleep. Then wonder why thinking feels slow. Energy fuels prediction, and here's the final warning. Even if you master predictive thinking, if you're focused on the wrong track, speed is irrelevant. F1 teams define race strategy first. Overtake here, conserve here. Attack here, direction precedes speed. Before accelerating, learning to find the finish line. What skill directly impacts your next opportunity? Focus there, ignore noise. To keep it simple, predict patterns. Drill weak components, chunk information. Regulate emotion, stack marginal gains. Protect sleep, define your track. That's the F1 cognitive system, not superhuman, structured. But here's the thing though, speed without focus is chaos. If your attention is scattered by notifications and endless scrolling, prediction collapses. That's why I made a video breaking down how to build deep, distraction-proof focus in a world engineered to slow you down. Because if you can't control attention, you can't control speed. Watch that next.